Welcome back everyone. Okay, I made quite a bit of progress from the last video. So what I'm going to do over here, I'll show you how the parts fit together, what I did to screw the holes, and what I did to get to a point where it actually fits together as a kit. So you can see what I've done over here, the whole thing's together. I'll show you now how to do that, but I want to work from the front to the back. So with the head and the jaw. Okay, like I explained before, you need to glue the front section on. So I've glued it on and I've filled it up with putty. Okay, so it fits pretty well. You need to take care of the jaw section when it slides in. So you'll notice, as I mentioned before, there is a little notch or a little step on the edge. You see on this piece you have exactly the same little notch as well. So these two lips need to go underneath. So the only way to make this work properly is to actually, once it's glued on, is to put it on and then you just slide it in so it actually separates the jaw section. And you need to take care of these steps. Okay, because I actually broke some off, I need to glue them back on again. So you need to push this till it actually clips in. Okay, and then this must go underneath the top of the jaw. Okay, and this must sit level on the side. So that's the head and jaw complete. Taking it out, that's the tricky bit. So that's when I broke these off, because this is very tight. So I recommend maybe getting somebody to separate this very slightly without cracking the nose section off and then sliding it out. Okay, what I recommend as well, if you've done your lighting, if you're not planning on doing lighting, glue this on. Okay, these back sections, and you see on the inside, you should see on the inside it actually, with my pointer screwdriver, you'll see it actually touches the top. Okay, so there's no way that this can push downwards. Okay, it gets stopped. And there's a lot of space for lighting inside. And then obviously your nose section just clips into it. Okay, and that needs to be glued in and filled. Okay, so now onto the main body. I'm not going to take it apart now. I'll explain what I did. You'll see that the front section, spine, okay, that where the notches actually go over the edge. So once you put these together, this will actually go in. It clips in with the little there's little notches cut in the inside, which I did show before, and the rear section as well. So without the rear section and without this section on, because this isn't glued together, this is just clipped in and screwed in. So there's no glue on this, and it's very solid. So what I did was with this lined up, I squeezed it together, and then I drilled a guide hole with a 1.5 millimeter, and then I used a 2 millimeter, and then I took the top off, and then I drilled a larger hole, I think maybe 2.8 millimeter, to take the screw. Because you do not need threading on the top sections, and then I tapped the bottom ones. Now the mistake I made was I put the screw in and I couldn't get the screw out. So make sure your tap is loose before you do anything, because I had to actually cut the edge, as you can see here, to get the screw out. Because the only thing I can get at the moment is screws with Allen keys. It's not Phillips. I'm not sure if you can see this, but it's not a Phillips head, unfortunately. So I'm resorting to using a 2 millimeter Allen key to screw it. Now the problem with this is it strips. It tends to strip very easily. So do not screw in very tightly unless you've got a very loose fitting screw. Okay, but never mind that. Once I had this piece on, I did the back one, and then the problem I had on this one, the issue, because I mean the idea of this video is to show you the issues and then you can not have the issues, is that I had a gap. For some reason this gap was open, was more open than what it is now. So my plan was to screw these two in and then loosen them and then push this, because this gap was about 5 millimeters at the back. Okay, it's about 2 millimeters now. It should be closer, but I stopped there. So then I did the back, I loosened the front, pushed this down, and like my design was these two notches to have screws in. Well, as you can see, there's no screws in because it did not work. When I pushed down once I screwed those in and I pushed down on this, it lifted. So then what I did was I drilled straight in. Okay, and it didn't hold. So, well, as you can see, what I did was I went stuff it and I went sideways in, and that seems to work with longer screws. Okay, I'll probably provide shorter screws for this, because this shouldn't be in the way of the back section, but you do not need it to be so long. But the angle seems to push it down, and obviously bent the resin enough to close the gap. And the thing is, you want gaps closed because else parts won't fit. Okay, so that's basically what happened over here. Okay, then I got to the tricky bit, which was the rear section. Now, as you can see over here, I've drilled these holes, but I haven't tapped them yet because I haven't taken this apart. But it doesn't seem like it's needed. You can, if you want to, drill a larger hole and then tap the bottom one. Okay. Okay, then rear section. Okay, what you want to do over here is first put the main section together. So I'm just going to take these top engines out. Just bear with me. You can skip forward if you want to. I'm not going to make it a time lapse and fly forward. Shouldn't take too long. Okay, the screw goes through the side walls of the rear section, as well as the engines and this top section. Okay, so let's get this out. Almost. Okay, there's a pain in the arse thing, this, because it's got this T section which I don't use. Okay, it's in the way. It's not like a normal screwdriver. Well, Allen key driver, Allen driver. I'm not sure what you call it in the States. Allen key. It's a square one, but this has actually got a couple of more points than squares on the tip. Okay, so take these out. The whole thing comes apart. Okay, so what you want to do over here, as you can see, the bottom is also screwed on. That's with a Phillips. Let me just take it apart so I can show you exactly what I did. Okay, so this is what you want to do. Okay, so I did explain it before. You need to glue the rear bottom section and the two side sections together. Okay, use the back section as a guide. So it was finicky to do. It might be better if you have two people, one and somebody can hold it together. But with this there on, those notches on the inside should actually line up. Okay, like so. Okay, so with that, like that, what I did was I put glue on each part, screwed that, and then brought these two in and held it in place using this as a guide, and sat there 5 minutes squeezing it together till it dried. Hardened, should I say. Okay, then I had that piece. Okay, so that determined my size. If you're going to now just come and put this onto the back of the Galactica body, it's not going to line up. Okay, you first need to prepare the back section, and that's what I found. Okay, so what I did from there was, while it's hardening, make sure that the rear section actually fits over the top. Okay, and use that rear section as a guide as well. Okay, and it goes in, it sits flush. Okay, now I'm going to add lighting, so if you're not going to do lighting, glue it all together as one. Okay, but before you do that, you need to do the top engines. So these clip in over the little notch and sits flush on the section. Same with the left hand one. Okay, so what I did then, see, you see there's a notch where they go in on the back. So what I did, as you can see, this drills right through this part. That's why this section is thickened. So I took this, lined it up. Okay, it only goes in one way. You see where it fits in. Okay, you can, if you want to, put it onto the body and to line it up. And then holding this very tight, making sure it's set flush. I drilled straight through the guide and then prepare the hole larger and then tap through it. So then this top screws in, these two. Okay, and the lower ones, same procedure. I lined it up in the body on its own, make sure everything's set flush. Okay, you see it sits in, it lines up over there. Always make sure things are flush with the body before you drill holes. Then I drill the hole through it into the engine, and then I tap this. I made this one slightly larger. My right hand one, the threading actually came loose, so I need to rethread it. What I do with that is I use UV glue. I shove it in the hole and then I harden it and then I retap it. So I still need to do that. Okay, so at the end you're going to have 4 engines on top, and then it should fit into the rear engine section. Okay, so once that's done, then you can drill your 2 holes through here and the back one. Okay, and then you could have one section that goes in. So I'm going to glue this on, not glue it on, screw it on again. Like I said, I'm going to do lighting, so I want nothing to open up afterwards. Okay, see with this one specifically, you might need to put your rear engine parts on before you screw together, because it could be quite tight in this gap. Okay, so I think this is the lower one. Where's my upper? Up is larger. So that is, which one is it? This one. Because he doesn't want to go in. Okay, so I'll just do the other side since it's not screwed on yet. Okay, then feel free to fast forward. I would as well. There you go. You can see it actually sits well, sits quite tight normally. It's actually quite loose, surprisingly. Okay, I'm not going to put it on. I'm going to screw it together though. Okay, sorry, one more thing which I need to show you is before you actually put this on, you need to screw the bottom ones on. Okay, else you won't get there. I mean, because it's obviously you have to go through the side. So I'm just going to put this one on. It's a shorter screw, and I'm only doing one side because the other one, like I said, it's stripped off. You see the rear bottom ones actually fit in quite easily. Come on. I'm not going to struggle with that. Okay, now you can come with the top one, put it on, and line it up. Okay. And the next video I'll do after this one is the pods. I'll show you how to put them together, and then thereafter I'm going to show you the all the printed parts that I have with me. There are a few, like obviously all the guns. There are a couple of armor plating parts that need to be printed. I just do not feel comfortable doing them as a crafted part. Okay, so what happens here is, okay, I've jumped actually. I'll show you now that the head section, how to put it on, but this basically slides in, and then all the engine bits go into their holes. So they all have to slide in together, top and lower engines. Okay, I'm doing this on my lap. Okay, so there we go. Okay, and that holds without anything. So no glue or anything. Okay, so once this is in, then you can drill your holes for these two sections. Drill them and then take it off and then make these two bigger and tap it. Okay, the rear one I've done already. So there's nothing on the bottom. You will see I have to squeeze it together to close this gap. Okay, that's the only place where for some reason it's not lining up properly. This you can close with putty if you want to, or just leave it open, you don't see it. Okay, so that's the rear section. Okay, obviously with your this piece on, fits in quite nicely. It's a tight fit. Give it a go in. Okay, there we go. Okay, then you put a screw through. Okay, so that's how it looks so far. Okay, with the front section, I'm going to take this off for now. With this front section, what you're going to do is these two rear detail parts, you can put them on. You can actually glue them in if you want to. And then this hooks on the inside. You see there's a hook, or like a little gap over here where it hooks into. That goes in and then pushes down, and then you can do your drilling and tapping through the single one on top. Okay, so you see there's a bit of a gap as well. Okay, so I'd recommend maybe if you're lighting it, once you've done the lighting, you glue the head on if you want to. It all depends on if you can get this gap, this thing to move down enough to be smooth. But as you can see, this is the length of this model. Okay, and it's a little longer because I mean the engines aren't on, and it's heavy. I think weight 6 kilograms, somewhere around there. Okay, so once you've done all that, you need to put your middle section. Okay, to close the top. Now the idea of this is to have space for electronics, battery, etc. And the idea of this here was the same. Move the camera down. So the PC board might be able to fit in this gap. I'm not sure yet, but you can cut it open if you want to get access. And then the armor plating just fits on top, so it's loose. Okay. So this piece, exactly the same. Once you got this on, as you can see, I've already drilled and tapped the holes. Okay, like I said, I've drilled and tapped these holes, and fit this on. Then it goes in one way, that goes into the front hole. This must sit flush on the back. Then I drilled through and I tapped the top, sorry, the bottom, and the top was just drilled slightly larger, so these little nuts were actually, sorry, that the screws were loose. Okay, and the arms go into here pretty easily. Okay, so with this on, I'm not going to tighten now, but it's a pretty solid shape. Okay, so up to this point, the only part that had been glued has been this section and the rear section of 2 parts. It's 3 parts that have been glued, nothing else. Okay, just while I'm on this body, there's a couple of things you need to do. I will explain it. There will be photographs in the build document. But on this back section, this rib needs to be ground down. Over here. Okay, because it's in the way of the armor plating. Both sides, there and there. And this one over here as well. Okay, just compare it to the other side. And then on the head, the lower part of the head, the one side is partly removed from the printing, from the original one. But over here you need to sand this down because a piece of armor plating goes over the top on both sides. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do on the model, it's not the painting yet. These front nose parts, you need to make sure they fit properly. Okay, not fit properly, they do fit already. I've sanded them down, but the lower one, the lower jaw, there's a number of antennae that stick out. This thing focusing. Let's see if I can get it to focus. There we go. Okay, so you see there's a number of little markings or little holes. Take a very thin drill bit. I think I'm going to use a 0.5mm copper wire. I'll see how it looks. Whichever one works, you get in the box. And then I'm going to cut a bunch of little, maybe 1cm or 10mm pieces, stick them in. There is a guide for where this goes in the in the paperwork that comes with the model, to show where they go. And then once it's dry, the glue, I'm going to cut them all to length before I paint it. Okay, then this one here, the top section has an antenna piece that goes on the front of this part. That's a printed part. I might not put it on until right at the end. I'm scared it breaks off. Okay, so I'll be doing that next, then I'll come back and I'll show you how it looks. That'll be one video. Well, not the next video. The next video is going to be the pods, and then thereafter the printed parts, and then I'll do this. And I'll come back and I'll show you how it looks. Okay, so till the next video, which is the pods. Thanks. Cheers.